have a small space garden, you find all sorts of ways to trellis your plants. And one interesting thing I've found, and it's taken a while for me to do this, is use my pine tree as a trellis for my plants. Two of the things that are growing on my pine tree right now are dragonfruit cactus and my loofah vines. The thing about a pine tree like this, it's very sparse, and so there is light and air that gets into your plant. This tree has been heavily pruned every year so that it's more ornamental than anything. In addition to loofah and my dragonfruit, which is climbing up the tree, right now I just have 3 baskets of strawberries hanging in the tree because they have lots of wonderful limbs that are reachable and you can hang your strawberries there. So there is a way to make things work that you might not even consider when you have a small space garden. I have been thinking about doing this trellis right here for years, but I haven't done it because I thought, oh, you know, it's right by the front door. I mean, how sort of closed in with edible garden do you want to be? But the fact of the matter is, the sun goes over this way. It's an absolutely perfect place, I've found, to have a trellis for the loofah. What has happened with the loofah so far, and this was my experience the only other time I've been successful growing it, which was in 2016, and I made the loofah video that has become my most popular video, almost 1 million views. The vines put out this initial 8 to 10 feet and set flowers. I have these big, huge loofah from this first 8-10 feet. So I have 5 vines, and there's at least 3 of the vines are growing up in the tree. And they're growing up at least 6 feet. I grew loofah in the back last time. The initial climb up to the top of the trellis where it goes across is where I had my first set of loofah sponges. I thought, okay, that's it. But then I noticed there was additional growth of the vine after these first round set, then another round set. And so I had dangling loofah dangling straight down from the trellis, and it was perfect. I did not do that this time. I didn't grow as many vines, for one thing, and I have my passion fruit growing on that trellis now, back in the back. And the passion fruit is a perennial, so I didn't want to try to mess with that. I have about a dozen loofah right now on this first flush, and we'll see if it continues. But I just want to get up in the tree and take a look at my dragon fruit. This is my first experience growing dragon fruit, and I'm learning a lot about it online. And it's supposed to bloom between June and October. Now, I haven't seen any sign of a bloom. However, I can't see what's going on way up, 14 feet up in the tree. So I'm going to have to get up there and take a look.
There. Here.
Perfect. Perfect.
Here. You need any food?
I'm going to come back down, remember? Yeah. Can it go higher?
Yeah. See?
Okay.
I can move this.
Okay. Dragon fruit takes about 2 years to bloom after you plant it. I've learned that dragon fruit likes a more acidic soil. So I didn't even know that when I planted it at the base of my pine tree. I just saw it growing. It was over in my cactus section. Down here I have pots that are in my cactus section, and it started growing sideways, and I thought, this needs some support, and I just planted it at the base of the pine tree. Well, of course, pine tree is always dropping needles, and those are acidic, so it actually is very happy there. Now, it puts out a lot of growth in the summer when it's hot. That's when it blooms, and that's when it fruits. An interesting thing about the dragon fruit is it only blooms for one night, just like the Queen of the Night cactus. I have a lot of that in the back. And the fruit comes from the pollinated flowers. Now, if you don't have moths pollinating those flowers at night, then you're going to need to get out between the hours of 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. and pollinate those flowers, which could be a little tricky if you don't only have one flower. You need to have more than one plant. Now, my plant starts from one base. It has a lot of branches, but one base. I don't even know if pollination is possible, but I really wanted to see this dragon fruit bloom before I have to leave this garden, which you probably know by now is going to happen sooner rather than later. So I am definitely going to be propagating this dragon fruit. Just wanted to show you. Now I'm going to be about 12 feet off the ground, I think. Eric is holding the ladder, and I've got my good grip around this as right here, this segment. I'm going to cut this segment, which is about 2 feet long. I'm going to cut that one, and I'm going to propagate this plant. And you want to be very careful not to injure your plant. Now, how am I going to catch that? Wow, that's hard. Oh, good. It didn't go down. Okay. Now, I just wanted to point out that the dragon fruit is a climber. It has these little roots that it puts out on the stem to grab onto the bark. I want to show you these roots, which are right here. They put out these roots, and they're firmly, I mean, that is completely secure against that bark. Yeah, you do need to wear gloves.
Okay. Got it. See?
That's tough.
See?
Okay, now we have 2 pieces. You're supposed to cut a leaf segment, and that's obviously a segment for rooting, but I think it'll be okay. Thanks so much for your support. Be sure and order a Late Bloomer t-shirt, and you'll find other ways to support this channel in the description below. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hey. Hey. What are you doing? You should see that squirrel.